At a time when the entire world is immersed in football fiesta as the FIFA World Cup is underway in Qatar, we have a special person in Kantipur television today. He has played in World Cups, he has featured for clubs like Barcelona and Ajax, and he has also been in coaching staff as a coaching expert and coach as well with big names in football. We have with us today Johan Neeskens, and welcome to Nepal. First of all, Johan, what brings you here in our country?
Well, I arrived this morning with my colleagues because this coming week they're going to do a program for world coaches. That is a program for coaches who want to work with children of the different age groups. And I'm here also. I unfortunately can only stay till Monday night because then I have to fly back home. But my colleague and also the other colleague from India, they're going to stay here the whole week, and they're going to work in this program.
So what is this program all about? When did it start? Can you please give us a brief history about this program and the reason for having it?
This program started already in 2009, and then the idea was also, we always say that every child who wants to play football, he has to try to have a good coach who knows what he is doing, how he has to prepare a kid, how he's going to play with them, how they let them practice them in the different age groups. So they started with a program, and I stopped being a coach in 2012, and then it is from the Federation of Holland, and the chief of the World Coach program asked me if I want to be ambassador of this. And I said, yeah, I'm willing to do that. But then I went in the beginning only as ambassador to promote this course. But after that I said, I like it so much that it's very interesting. Also, it is very important. So I want to be part, and so now do also as instructor.
So let us take a look back into your own time when you were playing for your different clubs and country. How different do you see the playing style now in relative comparison to when you were playing during your time?
I think that it's very difficult to compare teams like Brazil or the Holland or who played in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, at that time there were very good teams, and they played also beautiful football. But football is changing.
How is it changing?
Yeah, with everything, the formations, tactical-wise, technical-wise, we're expecting all the time more of the players, because in my years in the 70s we had more space. You played more out of each other, the two teams, so there was more players to play and to pass. Now sometimes you see teams defending with the whole team in their own half and waiting that the opponent comes. Okay, and then there is no much space. So first of all, your technique has to be already much better. You have to handle the ball much quicker. So all these things is part of football. But of course, football is also developing. Coaches are developing themselves. So they have to be also creative. Now I want maybe to play against this team, this style of playing with this formation, because then we have a better chance. So you cannot really compare it in periods of 40, 50 years. But at that time we had very good teams, and nowadays you have very good teams also. But yeah, football is changing.
Has football become more defensive? Because these days we see, even in the World Cup right now, the score lines are being very competitive, teams are very compact. Is it also because of the coaching mentality, tactics? What is it?
First of all, you look at your own team, of the quality of your own team. What can they do very well? Where they feel sich comfortable with. And if you play against a team what normally on paper is much stronger, and they are quick and they use the space very well, then it is ridiculous to play against them very open, because then you collect maybe 8 or 10 goals. So also for the other team it is then important to create space, less space for the opponent, and once in a while in a counter-attack you try to score yourself. So every team, because I said And how you want to play, in which formation, that depends always on the quality of your players. And of course, you cannot have, if there are participating 32 countries, and with all respect, that is very good when they qualify, but not everybody has the same quality on the same level, the highest level, that they are so very good that everybody can, for example, play open and attacking, attractive football. So also now in this, you saw teams who tried, were good on the ball, and the other team dropped back, played very compact, and want to play for out that position. So I think it is normal. And of course I can understand that the people who watch the game want to see only attractive football, but it is also about winning. And what is my chance, the biggest chance to win a game, the way I do it.
So in football these days, in relative comparison to the times when you were playing, there was not much technology involved. Now there is technology in almost everything, whether it be coaching, training, even in the balls, we have VAR. How is your thought, or what is your thought about the involvement tech?
That is also why it is so progressing, why you can, before that now you have hospitals and the teams goes before they start the season, they go over there, the fat, the blood, everything is checked, the heart, everything, and they can always control it. After 2-3 months, hey, everybody back and see what is the difference. In my days, in the 60s, 70s, you didn't have that. So then it was even more difficult for the coach to prepare the whole team. Now you have so much more technology. For that reason also the football is changing. Analyzes everything on
all the
video.
Data that is.
Yeah. But right away you have it after the game. In our time that was not possible. You didn't have this stuff. So
back then, how did the coaches analyze the performances? Because you said that there was no technology back then. So how did your coaches, when you were playing, give you feedback about improvements required in performances?
Of course. Yeah. You had the match on television. So you got the video from that, and the coach had to look at night and say the things that he wanted to say and what he saw. But for the rest is everything on paper, and you tell by your eyes what you have seen. And then you can explain the players. But if you explain the players and you have also the video, then it is more visual, then it is more clear. Because if not, a player always will say, no, but it was not my fault, it was also him. But you can here stop the video and you here, this is the moment. This is where you're standing. In that moment you are not there. So now it is much easier to make conclusions and tell them how it is.
Yeah. So these days we also see media has an impact on what coaches say during the press conferences and the impact on the players' performance, individual or the group as well. How was it like when you were playing and even when you were coaching? The impact of media in the performance?
Of course, we had also media. It's normal, you have always media and they ask questions, but they can do a lot. They can make it good, but they can also make it bad. They create things in a club or for a national team. Depends, maybe he doesn't like the coach. So he don't gonna write nice words and nice things about him. So that is everything against the coach. But I think also with the press, they can have questions, but they have to be football questions. And that they know also tactical wise and technical wise. And if they don't have that, they should be careful with all the questions, because I think then it is not fair. If you want to have a discussion with the coach or with players, then you should also understand the situation in the field, why it happened, what was the reason, and not only say, yeah, but it was not good. Yeah, but if I ask him, yeah, but why you think, why it was not good? Because there is always why, what, where happened it, who was involved. So, and if you cannot give me an answer, then you should stop asking this kind of question, because you don't know it yourself.
It creates an impact on the psychology of the players as well, even the coaches as well.
Everybody. Nobody likes to get criticized by the coach, yeah, but not people from the street and newspaper people who tactical-wise don't know anything. No, they should better shut up.
We've seen that recently also with Cristiano and Leo Messi also, who had retired and then came back. Probably all those pressure and stress from what people are saying and talking about their performance creates an impact, right?
Every individual, how he handled it by himself. And sometimes it is not easy.
As a coach, how do you help manage players in those situations?
Now, of course, you talk a lot about with the players because you are working every day with them, and you see also the development of the player. You know him very well, you know his qualities, you know also where he maybe has to improve, and you try to give him confidence, saying, hey, don't listen to all these people. I talk with you, I explain you what I want from you, and you don't listen to the other ones. And we're gonna work on that and forget the other ones. And then of course, then still it is the player how he can work with that mentally and physically, all this stuff.
So the mental health aspect and the physical health aspect both come hand in hand together when it's about football and international pressures. So coach, in addition to playing with players, legendary players like Johan Cruyff, you've also coached legendary players as well. So can you please share something about your time in Barcelona, because you had players like Leo Messi was in his early stage of his career, and then there were other big names. Carlos Puyol was there, Iniesta, Xavi, even Eto'o from Cameroon was there. How was it like, the atmosphere in Barcelona?
Yeah, of course, if you go to a club like that, that was from 2006 to 2009, 3 years, and I was together with, did the job together with Frank Rijkaard, who was coaching there. And of course, you announced all these big names, and Messi was, yeah, at that time only 17 years old, but he had unbelievable qualities, and also Ronaldinho, and of course we put Messi in the first team, and then they're all big stars. But the most important thing is that they can play as a team, and that they're not jealous one about the other, that they get more attention from the crowd or from the press. So that is always the most important thing, that you can get all the noses the same way. And that I said, because a team is there is only one star, but that is the team and not an individual player, because they have to play together. If the one doesn't give the pass right to the other cannot make a good thing either. So that is, I think, the most important thing for a coach, to let them play as a team in the attacking way, but also in the defending. And of course, you have more big teams in Spain, like Atletico Madrid, like Real Madrid. To be champion there, it is not easy. You have to go every week, also the away games. The stadium is always packed when you come. And for these players, it is the game of the year, because they're facing the big team. So there are always very difficult games, but it is fantastic to play and to practice with these players, because you don't have to tell, hey, you have to control the ball like this, hey, you have to pass with your inside. That they know, but it goes more like, hey, we have to work together.
So even as a player and a coach playing for Barcelona, how is the pressure like when you face Real Madrid in the El Clasico?
No, but not only if you face for the Clasico, because that is the game of the year. You have 2 times, away and at home.
Yeah.
But it is very, in every, because I said, if you go to Bilbao, or you go to Osasuna, or you go to another, they give everything, and the crowd is so fanatic.
They want to win, especially against Barcelona.
So you have to deal with it every week. There's not only one game, the pressure, because this club wants to be champion of the league, and to win that, then you have nearly to win every game. Home game, and not only Madrid. Of course, the crowd is more happy when you also beat Madrid.
Yeah.
But if you beat Madrid and the next week you play away against Osasuna and you're losing, then they're not happy either. So it is every week you have to be and give your best 100% and play the best you can.
There have been some players who played for both Barcelona and Real Madrid, right? So who do you think was the most standout player who's played for both of these big giants of Spain?
Yeah, God, in the time that I was there, I think it was Luis Figo.
Figo. It was a much criticized move when he went from Barca to Real Madrid.
Of course, you know, when there is so much rivalry in between the two big clubs, and you play years for that club, and the people in the crowd love you, and you go to the opponent who they hate, I think, yeah, then it is difficult. But you as a player have to take the critical things from the club then, because I can understand the crowd. Because I said I play for Barcelona, but I don't want to play for any other team in Spain. If I have to go, I go to another club, another country, but I don't want to play against Barcelona.
So you've mentioned, like, while coaching players like Messi, you do not have to give them a lot of instructions, right, because of their quality as well. Now that you're traveling around the world, coaching different countries, different environment, different kind of children and players as well, what aspect do you stress the most on when you are coaching children or young players these days, when you're coming to countries like Nepal?
Yeah, I started this program in participating in 2012, so now 10 years. And now with Nepal is country 38. I went all over the world. For 2 weeks ago I was still in Colombia, in Bogota. But of course, football is very recognized, because it is sports #1 in the world.
It's like a religion everywhere.
Yeah, it is. Everybody likes to play football. But in our program, we go also to areas where they don't have the chances. Also in the poor villages, also up in the mountains, there are no facilities. They don't have cones. They nearly don't have balls. Sometimes they don't have shoes. And then we try to give also these kids the opportunity to participate in a course like that. And then it is important for you to know what age have those children, how you're going to practice with them. Because we think they like play football. So you should play football. For us, in the course, it has to be football. And football means there is always a ball, there is always an opponent, you can always score, and not, okay, we start doing the warming up and 15 minutes all these exercises for these kids and let them run, because then there are 50 minutes running without ball, so the technique don't gonna get better. The moment that you start with them, there is a ball. Balls are involved. But we say, if I have to dribble around the cones, we say that is no football. Because the opponent, that should be an opponent, and the opponent stands still and he lets you dribble. That is not the real thing what happened in the match.
It's a contact sport, so there has to be competition.
He has to face somebody, the opponent, who he has to out-dribble. He has to give his teammate a pass, but there is also a defender. That is totally different, because that is happening in the game. So for us it had always to be football. And how earlier you start with the little kids, 6 years, 7 years, that they're gonna understand that is football, and not only that there is no opponent and you can receive a ball, you control it and you shoot on goal. No, that is not. So the earlier you start with that, with this kind of exercises, the better the technique gonna be, the vision gonna be better. And that is also why I think why Holland always produce at a very young age already players who can play with 17 years in the first team and also in the national team.
So considering the fact that Western nations, including Holland, countries like Spain, Germany, they have this system of producing, identifying talents at a young age, even Argentina, South American nations, and then they nourish them equally, physically, mentally, with the academies as well. In countries like ours, our part of the world, we do not have many academies that are well facilitated. So there is a challenge that you've identified as well.
Yeah, but I think it is not only if you have the academies or whatever, you have to have good coaches. Only the coaches can make the level of the players, small and older, better. Only the coach can influence the player to let them develop player better. And nobody else. And of course, if you have a good pitch and a nice environment and the facilities are good, that is a plus. But the first thing is the coach. Only the coach can influence the player and can make him a better player. And if the coach don't have that quality, you don't going to see a better level.
Considering that, when we look at the international football scene right now, top coaches are mostly from either Europe or they are from South America, right? So from our part of the world, Southeast Asia, South Asia, even Asia as a whole, we do not have many popular coaches. Why do you think is that, and what is the problem there?
Because maybe in these countries, years ago, this sport was not number one. You have your own sport, cricket, you know, and other sports, but not football. That was the same in the United States. There you had American football, you have baseball, basketball, ice hockey. Much more interesting for them in the 70s. Now also soccer is, because you have big crowds also. The women team is excellent.
Even the players are playing for clubs in Europe?
Yes. So, but that took also 50 years, because when I went to play there, it was nothing. But then they start also
investing
in good coaches. They brought them also from Europe to let them work, to show the coaches how you work with the kids. And now you see the level that went up, and also United States qualify a lot of time for the World Cup. And the women are number one in the world. So, but it took 50 years, and that's going to be, but if you here start, or also in India, and also in other countries, because now Asia, Japan played also very well, South Korea also, because they are improving. But that is also because of the coach is going to be better also, and they work better with the kids. And when you start here and you coach them well, and they are 6, 7 when they start playing, by 16, 17 years old, yeah, they've worked 10 years. And if in that 10 years the quality of the coach is high, then you see your results, and then you can have the level of player from also your national team and also club-wise going to be much better, and you can compete with other countries.
When you talk about countries like yours and clubs that you've played for, and the other clubs as well, the football associations of those respective countries have a massive role to play in terms of development of football. And how do you assess that role of football associations in our part of the world?
I cannot say that. I know what our country is doing. Our Dutch Federation for Football is working very good, first of all with the government, and second also with all the clubs. Also now participating in this tournament, they earn these millions coming this far. A part goes to players, a part goes to the federation itself, and the rest goes to the amateur clubs in whole Netherlands, maybe to buy balls, to buy cones. So that is the pyramid, because Holland says if you don't start from the bottom and you improve the level, you cannot continue to be there. So you have to work together. And I don't know if the government is interesting in that.
Well, so that is about the football associations. But as a coach and a former player with the legendary status, what is your recommendation for aspiring footballers, the young children, and at the same time the coaches? What do you suggest? How can they become better in their game or even coaching? What is your recommendation?
For that reason we are here. This week, well, unfortunately I have to leave, but my colleague, and he did it all for so many years, and we have the same philosophy. So he's gonna work with this group, and they're gonna see that it is totally different, probably, from what they were thinking, what is football and how I prepare and practice from the warming up till the end. So 1.5 hours with the warming up, and then the next phase, and the next phase, and at the end of the game. They're gonna learn how we put that together.
It has been amazing talking to you, Coach, but before we finish this beautiful conversation, I'm going to ask you some tricky questions. I hope you're prepared for that. So who do you think is going to win the World Cup? Sadly, Netherlands crashed out against Argentina.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
Okay, I think now from what I have seen, I think I like also Croatian because they're really a team. They work for each other. So far also now French did also very well. And I was surprised by Morocco.
Croatia were the runners-up last time as well,
Yeah.
so they probably want to go one step
of
further
course.
this time. Messi or Ronaldo?
Both good players.
So you've had this chance of
The best.
coaching Messi.
They were the best over many years, but both with their own qualities, because they are not the same type of players. So you cannot say this one is better or this one. There was a time they were both the best players.
So coach, you've been here today and you've seen probably a few infrastructures. What improvement do you think should Nepal make in its journey in football to develop further?
Of course, I cannot say what the people here have to do, but this venue, this environment, this is good. This is a soccer field. Here you can practice very well, but I've heard this is the only stadium they have.
We have another international stadium.
Yeah,
this
but
is the
it
training
is,
facility.
how many kids are living here? How many million? 1.5 million people living in,
Kathmandu?
yeah?
Probably more than that.
And a lot of kids. So they have to have the opportunity that they can practice, but in a good environment, not on the street, okay? But that is not there. So first of all, if you want something and that it goes better, you have to create also the environment that they can practice, that they can in different areas, and then you can also make competition. This area played against that area, but when it is not there, then it's going to be very difficult to develop this.
So there has to be a regular league system, regular tournaments.
Also, and that they have more opportunities to not only on this field with this condition, but more fields. Because that is the difference in Holland. If you go 5 kilometers, they have maybe 3 teams, 3 clubs, and they have all 3 or 4 fields. And then you can work with the children.
Thank you so much, coach. Have a beautiful stay in Nepal.
Thank you very much.
So that is it from us for now. We'll definitely be back with more interactions, not just from the world of football. Keep watching Kantipur television. Goodbye for now.